My dad was born May 25th, 1923. He was a World War II veteran, and he also was Deputy Chief of Police here in Green Bay. And he also was an alderman for the city when he retired from the police department. And in between there, he also worked for the NFL, and he was the security, in charge of the security at the Packer games here in town. And then eventually he ended up in the hospital, and he was diagnosed with some pneumonia. When the nurses kind of felt that, and the doctor felt that he wasn't going to improve, they told us about Unity Hospice, and we were not aware of it. We didn't know what to expect, and once they got on board, we were so happy to have them with us, because it was like having a team with you at all times.
You know, hospice, the thing that I have to say in the hospital when we were there that I really, really thought was important is they noticed the small little details. Mm-hmm. And the details that I mean personally is that he was a police officer, and he was a very, very good one. He also always wore his veteran hat everywhere. The military was so important to him. Mm-hmm. And they made sure that his hat was right next to his side. He wore his hat almost every day until he passed. Mm-hmm. They made little messages on the bulletin board, on the dry erase board, for him, about thanking him for his service. And it just really meant a lot, because those were the things that were important to him and his family that we hold dear. Mm-hmm.
One of the nurses gave us a thought to just say, you know, if you want to just tell your dad it's okay. And then again with the hospice people too, they mentioned that sometimes they got to just know that it's okay to go. Mm-hmm. And so both Joe and I told him that we would be taking care of Mom, and that it would be okay that he goes. And so one morning my brother Joe got there, and that's when he was just let go. My mom was born April 13th, 1929, and she was a housewife all her life. Our mom was always around when we needed her. My mom and dad had 4 kids, and we all grew up in a very happy home. While my dad was in the hospital, my mom was in a nursing home in the rehab area trying to get stronger to walk again. And her goal was to get stronger to get home. She wanted to go home. Eventually, she started not feeling well, more pneumonia type as well. And so she ended up back in the hospital. Kind of the same scenario where they just couldn't do any more for her. She just wasn't strong enough to clear her lungs. And then they mentioned Unity Hospice, and that Mom, you know, was able to qualify for that. And of course, we just couldn't believe we were going through this 35 days later. When Joe and I and the Unity Hospice gal talked to us, and I just said, you mentioned that Unity Hospice goes anywhere, and she wants to go home. And so we brought her home, and they were right there with us to help us there. And that's where we were really thankful, because, again, now you're in a home setting. Unity is right there by your side the whole time. And, you know, they went over very thoroughly on what to do with pain medication. And they said, call us at any time you need us. And we just kind of all worked around
we all
being there
were at the house together. And the thing that I realized most, that I didn't realize about hospice previous to this, was, you know, they let you care for your loved one. And I love that. We have no regrets, because we got to spend every moment with them until the day they passed. But they give you the ability for you to give them that care and the comfort to that individual, that you can care for them, and any kind of concerns or anxiety or whatnot that you would have for caring for somebody, they make sure they go over it completely with you and thoroughly, and so that you have every resource to make it okay for them. And so I just love the fact that we were the ones taking care of them. Mm-hmm. We were the ones holding their hands and walking them through to the point where they went to heaven.
Mm-hmm. When my dad passed away, I was with my mom every day at the nursing home. She thought she was okay, but I think that she was still kind of in shock itself. And then when I said, Mom, I said, can we take some of Dad's shirts and make pillows and teddy bears for all the grandkids and the great grandkids? And she said, yes, absolutely, let's do that. We really didn't, I have to step back. We really didn't even do the ordering of the bears yet because I just didn't get to it. I was busy with Mom and making sure we're getting her stronger to get her home. And then going through the whole shock that we're losing her too, I just made the decision that we're going to do the pillows and the bears with her clothes as well. And so I did the count, and I think I did about 18 bears and 18 pillows. Some of the pillows that for some of the older grandkids, we just did like a blended pillow where it was a shirt of Mom's and a shirt of Dad's. But when I went to pick them up, I couldn't help but cry. They just did a wonderful job. I think that I wasn't sure how to present it to the kids because there was so many, and everybody could pick and choose to decide which ones they wanted, and some of us adults could pick and choose.
We got some too, yeah.
Yeah.
Thing that I love about having the bears for the kids and the pillows is, it's hard for kids to really explain to voice their feelings towards death, and they were all part of their lives. They were there with Grandma and Grandpa too. And for me, seeing it with my children, it just kind of gave them a sense of, Grandma and Grandpa are still here. Mm-hmm. They're watching over us. And when you're sad, and you're thinking about them, that's why this bear is here for you. They gave you this so that you can hug them still. I think it just kind of gives them a sense of security that, great grandma and great grandma are always with you no matter what. Mm-hmm. They're always going to be in your heart. They're always here. And they're our guardian angels.